Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome back to the Queen of Web Academy. Here we turn web design from confusing to crystal clear. You don't have to be confused, all right? So today, inshallah, we are building a real life blog or news website layout using CSS Grid to structure the whole page, and then we use Flexbox to arrange content inside our semantic tags. Also, you're going to learn how to take full charge of the responsiveness of your web page. All right, so this is what the website looks like. This is the website we want to create now. This is what it looks like when the device is as big as this, and then it's going to change the look once the device becomes small. Okay, okay, that one is become smaller. So this is what we are going to have. So when it is smaller, we have this up here and this one below it, and like that. But when it is bigger, we have them side by side, just like this. We have this aligned to the left and this aligned to the right. We have this sidebar, we have this main body, and then we have the footer. By the end of this video, inshallah, you will know exactly how to mix grid and flexbox the right way, how to use semantic HTML tags for better accessibility, and also how to keep your layout clean and responsive. Before we begin, don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you don't miss future tutorials. Right? Let's start. So first thing, create your project and then make sure inside the project you have an index.html file and a style.css file. So I've done all that already. Then I've come here, I've changed the title. I've given it the title of Grid Flex project. Now I want to link my CSS to my HTML straight away. Okay, have you done that? Let me go straight to open my project on live. So first thing is that I want to declare a div and give it a class name of container, and that is where all my projects stay in. So inside this container, I'm going to have the header. We want to create a project for a blog site or news website. And we are going to have a kind of header, we are going to have main body, and some information will be aside. Sometimes they will feature some news that they want you to click on and all of that before they come to footer. So let's start. So first thing is my header, and then I'm going to inside my header, I'm going to have two things mainly there. The very first thing, I'm going to give it the class name of logo, and that is for my logo. So I'll just say my news, something like that. And then after this logo, on the other side, I'm going to have the nav bar. So, and it is inside this nav bar that I'm going to have all my navigation link. Okay, so in this case, all the navigation links I'm going to be adding are still going to be inside this project. Okay, let me show you one and I will tell you how I'm doing it. So in this case now, I'm going to reference hashtag. So since it's inside the project, so I'm going to say, okay, it should go to hash. So this way, if I say home, it does take me to where I have the home on that page. So it is still there, it's not going anywhere. Then I'm going to let me just repeat this to the okay, home. Then I'm going to have news about the whole world. We're going to be having news or blog on deck. Then let's say news on sports, probably health and so on. Then contact. Just going to so having done all of these, I'm done with my header. Then the next thing is after header, what's next? We have the main body. I hope you can still remember all the semantic tags that we have learned in the past. In case all these are new to you, please try to go to try to go to the previous tutorials. I have made a video on why you have to be specific about choosing this instead of just using div for everything. All right, so where you're supposed to use header, where you're supposed to use main, where you're supposed to use section, footer, and so on. I want to use main, and then inside this main we're going to be having different sections and article. Let me go for section, and this section I want to give it a class name of featured. So what are those things that I want to feature? And inside this you are going to, so those things we want to feature two major articles. So the first one, so since it's an article, is going to be inside a semantic element called article. For my article, I'm going to have H2, then I will say featured story. And then what are the contents? So here you're going to learn something called lorem. So lorem is developers use lorem to generate some words as content of your website. So instead of you are a developer, you are thinking of how to solve this problem, how to bring this website to life, or how to bring this app to life. Then at the same time, you need to be thinking of, okay, what should be the content of this? What should be the content of this? No, this shouldn't actually be your own problem. So in order to make it to achieve your required result, you can just generate some words as your content. And that is where lorem comes to play. So once you type lorem, you can just say, if you say lorem 50, so it's going to give us 50 words. And that is that. So it's going to generate 50 words for us. If you say lorem 10, it's going to, so if you just want a few lines, you can just say lorem 5, lorem 10. It depends on how many words you actually want. Right. So let's continue. Yeah, meanwhile, I don't need this much because it is just a feature. Feature will just show like beginning of that particular, let's say this featured story now, it's just going to show, let's say the first line of that particular story that will prompt you to click on it and read the whole story up. So I can just use the REM 15 and that is fine. Then I will add some dot to let them, or let me repeat this twice. So this is article 1, I'll just repeat it twice like that. So I have the articles 2. So the second one would not be featured story. So let me make this something like breaking news. So breaking news and then this again. So let's continue. Yeah, so I'm done with this section. Then I need to go to another section. And then the first section, what class name did I give it? So featured. So this section again now, I want to call it, okay, news grid, where I'm going to have all some of our news arrangement of, let's say, arrangement of the latest news. So let me just repeat this and then I'm going to edit this right away. So from this, let me change the class name to news grid. So it is inside it I'm going to have a lot of news. So the first article, you can just say article 1. I don't want this to be H2. So let me use H3 for this. Then I can reduce this content. Let me just give it kind of, let's say lorem 10. There must not be space between your lorem and the number of words you need. And I'll do the same for this. So we have article 2. I can also have article 3. Let me change this to article 2. And then I can have like 4 articles. So let me just repeat this. And this one will be article 4. Yeah, so having a whole page filled up already. After I've put all this there, then I think we are good with the content of our main. So then after main, we can go to our sidebar. And our sidebar is usually inside our side. And inside this aside, so I'm going to have H2. I'll call it sidebar. And then another paragraph with lorem. Like how many? Okay. So we have this down here. Yeah, so that's our sidebar. Now to end it, let's go to footer. And inside footer, you're going to have a copyright inside a paragraph. So to have copyright, this is what. So you have that there. Then I can just say 2025. And what is the name? My names, right? So remember that is what we use as the logo. Yeah. So after this, I'm going to have that is just the copyright. Then I'm going to have another div. And I'm going to give it a class name of our footer usually have some links too. So maybe where to read about privacy, our terms, and all of that. So let me just. So inside that footer links, so I'm going to give it hash as the hypertext reference. Then here I will say privacy. So that's where you can read about our privacy. And for this one, it's our times. Let's go to our CSS. First thing first, let me give it a generic styling. It's my hand not typing. So margin 0, that's the sense. So that I don't want them to come with any default styling. So margin 0, padding 0.2, and then the last one, box sizing. So the box sizing, I want to give it border box. So now let me style the body. I want to give it the font family. Arial sans serif. That is one of the popular fonts for format settings, like a news website or so. Then I want to give it a line height. All right. So this line height has to do with each line. So what is the height of each line? So just give it 1.6. All right. So let's start our grid stuff now by arranging our website. So I want to do this inside the container that I declared. So that's the essence. So and I will say display grid because that is what we want to use to arrange the whole web page grid. Then I'm going to give it grid template area so that each of them will know this portion to take. Then grid template areas. For my grid template areas, no, I'm not giving it none. So I want it to just be in two ways. So let's say header, header. So and then I would have main, then aside, inside column, or what do they call quotation? Always inside quotation. Okay, so immediately that started splitting inside quotation. Then the last one is footer. All right, so we have all this now. Then how do I want, those are the right. How many portion do I want them to take? And those are the left. How many do I want it to take? So because I want my main to be at the left side, and with this arrangement, the main to be at the left side and their side to be at the right side. So their side should take lesser portion. Okay, so for that, I'm going to have my grid template columns. Then I would say, let me try 2FR, 1FR, but I think 2 should be fine. So 3FR, 1FR, then grid template rows. So grid template rows, that is going to talk about the header. This is role come from this place to this place, and the first role, just like the arrangement of our grid template areas. So this is the first row, header. This is the next row, which is main and aside, and the third row is footer. So how do I want them to arrange? So for the first one, which is header, I just want it to take a portion of auto. So whatever that, just take a little portion depending on the content in it, right? Then the second one, which is the main and the aside, are the one that's going to take the most portion. So I want to give them 1FR. What is that? 1FR. Then the footer should also be auto. Yeah, having done all this, I can give it a kind of minimum height. Like even if we don't have much content on it, I still want the whole content to at least with minimum height of viewpoint. So VH here now. So viewpoint height. So no matter what, you should cover the main viewpoint of this page from this place, like from this place down to this place. So you shouldn't stop at the middle. That's the minimum height. So this is what we currently have now, right? Yeah. So in order to have it arranged, not so long, so I have header in my HTML. So what portion do I want header to take? I want it to take, so that is my grid areas. So grid area should take header, and immediately it's going to take all that portion. Then I'm going to give it a background color, just a background, not necessarily declare color. Two. So that's the background color. Then I'm going to give it a color of white because of the background color. Yeah, so it has become visible. Then now, I've given all of them padding of 0, so I'm going to give it a kind of padding now. And the padding should be, let me say 15 pixel. Yeah, so I have this. So I'm still coming back, but let me first use this to put all of them in their various place. After this, let me go to main. So the grid area for main should be what we call main too. So that's the name we give to it. Yeah, so it has taken its portion. Then I'm going to give it a padding as well. Let's say 20 pixel. Yeah. Then I'm going to give it background, and then so yeah. So the background is quite different from this now. It kind of gray. Okay, so let me go to aside for now. So first thing, the grid area should be, how do I declare it? Did I say aside or sidebar? Okay, aside too. So grid area aside. Okay, I'm going to give it padding, 20 pixel as well. Yeah, then I'm going to give it a kind of background color. Yeah, so darker than what you have here. Now it is left. Let's go to our footer now. So as you can see, we are having it well arranged already. So everyone taking their own portion without mixing up. Yeah. So for footer, grid area, footer, then background color of what I give the header, and then going to give it the color white, and then padding just like header, 15 pixel. So I have it like this. So this is what we currently have on our web page. Let me enlarge it. Can you see that? So this is what we currently have. But we're not going to end it here because at least it's looking more beautiful, right? But this part is still boring. That is not what we actually want. And even our header, we have not arranged and we have not removed all this color, the link decoration of all these navigation links. And so let's just continue. So now I'm going back into my header to start styling them. And also I'm going to be giving my header its own display. So I'm going to give it a display of flex. Uh, display of flex. Then I will say justify content, space in between them. That's what I want. Space between. So that way one will go to the right left side, the other one will come to the right side. Remember, this one is inside one element. All these things here are inside one element, which is nav. Why this one is separately inside another element, which is div. So we have only this div and this nav inside our header. So for that, it's going to, the flex is going to work only on this and this as sisters, as siblings. So if by the time you want to do anything on this one, it's going to be separate, all right? So I want to give it align items. So we all know what align items is. By the time I give it center, these and these will be on the same line. Align items will align them vertically and not horizontally as we have done before. So that's where they will be at the middle. And then let me go to navbar now. So I can just go down and style my navbar. So what is, we didn't give it last name, right? So let me just say nav. And then inside the nav, I'm going to have another display. The nav is what contains all these our links. So how do I want them to display all these links inside that nav? Because by the time we are this thing reduce, they are just going to keep clumpsing up. So everything will become clumsy. But now so I'm going to give them a display of less like this. They mesh together. Then to make it more meaningful, I'm just going to add gap. And how many space should I put? Let me just say 15 pixel. Yeah, so we have them like this. Then I will need to style the anchor tag. All these things are anchor tags. So I want to style the anchor tag inside my nav. That is what this means now. So it means go inside nav as an element and style the anchor tag inside it. So for that, I'm just going to change the color. I'm going to give it color white. Yeah, now it's more visible. Then I want to remove this line under it as a result of the being linked. So the decoration that is a kind of text decoration default for everything that is linked. So I want to say none. I don't want them. So and that way they will become normal text. They will look like normal text. But when you come near it, you know that is a link. hmm, because the cursor is changing. Right. So now another thing we want to style now is this main. Inside our main, what are those things that we have there inside the main? We have section inside the main. So the first section inside our main, we have a section called featured. So dot featured. So I want to give it, yeah, let me use grid now, because we have a lot of things that we want to feature. And for anything complicated, a large content, we use grid basically to arrange them. So grid, then I would say grid template columns. How do I want to arrange them? Now this time I want to use repeat. I will say 2, then 1 FR. So there should just be 2 and each of them taking one free space. So just 2. So even if there are many, this is how they will repeat themselves. Like they are just 2 on a row, meaning that we are just going to have 2 columns and each of them take 1 FR. Right? So now I'm going to add gap to them. Now let me just say 15 pixel, 15 pixel gap, yeah. And then I want to give them margin bottom so that they can flow separately from what is coming after them. How many pixel? 20 pixel. Yeah, so it has given enough space for what is coming after it. So let's go to the next one, which is our what is it called? Let me just repeat this. But this time it is called, I call this one news grid. Yeah. So we have this for new grid too. So what is different that I actually want to remove from it is I'm not adding margin bottom to this. Yeah, it's not necessary. So the same thing almost. Display, I want it to be grid, and the grid template columns too, I want it to keep repeating itself, like just 2 on a row, like just 2 columns, and then each of them should take 1 FR. If I change this to, okay, just 2 and each of them should take 1 FR, then I'm giving them a gap of 15 pixels. Right, so let's go back to our footer and add some styling. So this is what we currently have now on our main page. Can you see that? All this featured, this first section, I can give them I separate what is it called? Separate background color. So let me give it a separate background color. So whatever color you are choosing, no matter how beautiful the color is, you must consider the text on it. Make sure it is the text on it is obvious. So it's very important. So is there no padding inside this router? Oh yeah, there's no padding. So let me add padding to this. Now you can see that there is no space at all. So let me just add padding. And let's say maybe 15 pixel. Yeah. And to style it further, I can just give the kind of border radius because I've given it a separate color. So look at this. I prefer it as border radius of let's say 5 pixel, and that is going to bring it out this way. All right. So let's go to our footer now. So this is what we currently have on our footer. Yeah. So this is what we have on our footer. So inside our footer too, we want to have display of flex. So display of flex. Yeah, and then we want to say justify content space between. So invariably for this sake, we can actually, if not because there are a lot of other things that are different between the because of their grid areas, we will have styled our footer and header together. Get it? So justify content. Oh, I wanted to put space between here. Space between. Yeah. So when we come to the right and the other one at the left, then we're going to have align items center. Yeah. Then for our footer links now. So this is our footer links. So for these ones too, yeah, I should even make this. I'm going to make some arrangements too. Footer links. I'm going to add dots to this. Is a class name. Then for my footer links, I want the display to be flex. And then I would give it space. Uh, I'll give it space gap of 10 pixel. Yeah, so yeah, here. Okay, what other things? Then the all this here, the anchor tags inside the footer links now is the next thing that I want to start. So I want to give it color of white. Yeah. Then I want to say text decoration none. Yeah. So that's what we currently have. So for better arrangement, I want to take my nav and nav bar to go and meet the header. So they should stay close to the header. So after continue our header. Yeah, since outside this header now. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. So we have done this. And as we can see, this is what we currently have. Okay, so this arrangement we have on this kind of screen, which is a laptop screen. But is it going to be the same way we want to view it on a mobile phone? So let's check it out. If you want to check such out, just go to right click and then come down to inspect. When you come down to inspect, then you have this. Let me highlight dual screen. This is yeah. So this is what we have now, showing what is going to be on a desktop, right? So when you come here, it says toggle device emulation. So come here and then you see. So this is what it says is going to look like on a laptop, on a tab or phone. Yeah, 400, 500. Yeah, so on the phone. Looking at this is the size of a phone. You realize that it's not going to be well visible. So for us, okay, so we want a kind of when it is displaying on a phone, everything should not be like this. Look at this header, everything has been matched together, and even the main and the sidebar, they are together like this as well. But So we can actually give it different styling for depending on the size of our device. So especially phone. So if a user is using the phone to visit the website, we want them to have a very good experience too. We don't want them to be having a kind of, oh, this side is not showing, this side is not showing the website. So we want it to be conducive for everybody, all right? So and that is what we'll be learning next. So for that reason, we are going to what we call art media. So we use art media on CSS for responsiveness. So for responsive design, so you just come here, you say art, and then you say media. So now, what media are you talking about? So I want to talk about media that the maximum width is, let's say, 768 pixel. This eventually means that any media, maximum width means that any device that the largest width it has is this 768 pixel. So any smaller width, any width that is smaller than this 768 pixel should take another styling that is different from all the stylings we have stated above, except those ones that we are not going to state now. Like if I come here and I say, okay, for the container, hashtag or dot rather, don't mind me. So for this container, I want the grid. Remember that the grid template areas before was head head. So I want the grid template area now to be just one header, not header header. Are you getting it now? Um, After header, we should have main, not main beside aside now. Then we should have aside. Yeah. Then after that, we should have footer. So this is how I want it to be displayed when it is when the size is very small. Like let's try it. You would realize that now their side has disappeared. Okay, let's come here. Their side will show now. But by the time you reduce the size, their side will go down. It won't be showing up again. So it is now coming down. And this way, anybody using a small device can still enjoy it. So we are still going to talk about all these ones now inside header. But let's do it small, small. So this is what we are going to have now. And then after the container, we are going to talk about what we're going to have inside the feature and the news grid. Featured, comma, and also the news grid. So what do I want inside those ones too? So remember that I said the grid template column for them should be repeat and having two, each of them taking one FR. So but this case, I want them to take just one FR. So I'll just say grid template columns, one FR. And then you're going to have that. So that is it. So instead of them being beside each other, they are going to take just the whole free space and another one the whole free space. So this way it will be easier for someone using a small phone, smaller device to view it very well. All right. Then after that, we are going to our header and footer. Remember that I styled them almost the same way too. No, it's not a class name. So header, then footer. And I want to say that flex direction should not be row. You know, by default, flex direction is row. That's why we didn't declare it before. Row means they will be side by side, just like what we have here. Just like what we have here. So my news are this side, and then the navigation bar at the other side. But in this case, I want to tell you that okay, flex direction should be column. So and this way, you're going to have my news up, and then so the logo will be up, and the nav bar will be below it, just like that. So if you check with that, it's going to be the same way. Yeah. So you're going to have your copyright hub, then privacies and terms coming down. So I can just add gap to it too. Okay, so you can see that we have used grid for the whole page to declare how we want everything to look like. And then we use Flexbox inside our semantic tags like inside our header, inside our nav, inside the footer links and all of that. And they were all aligned perfectly without worrying about columns or rows and all of that. We also use grid inside main content like here and here, right? And then We arrange featured stories and news articles. They all got a nice uniform look with repeat columns. So repeat columns meaning that even if you have 100 content, repeat the same thing for all of them. Then, so this is a realistic developer workflow. You use grid for the big picture, and then you use Flexbox for the small details. All right, and there you have it, a responsive. Let me enlarge it, and there you have it. You have a responsive or news layout using grid for structure and a Flexbox inside the semantic tags for perfect alignment. So what's your homework now? Your homework is to add more sections. You can see this section is so small that everything can appear on the page. So I want it on a loop. So I want you to add more features to more sections, like more articles and all of that, such that we will need to scroll down before we can see our footer. Are you getting it? Don't forget to like this video, subscribe, you click the notification bell to catch our next tutorial because you don't want to miss any of our tutorial. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.